Welcome to another episode of my awesome podcast.
All right, you've got a video for us to start with today, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And what is this, or should I just play it and then we'll talk about it?
You can just play it and we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Something's about to go down on September 23rd.
Why that date specifically?
If you look at across all media, a bunch of movies, a bunch of TV shows, books, all mention the date September 23rd.
Is there a reason?
I saw a clip from Evan Almighty that September 22nd is supposed to be doomsday. And it's supposed to leak.
Now, wait a second.
Yeah.
First of all, he saw a clip from Evan Almighty.
Yeah.
Okay. and let me just dive away from this for a second before you talk about your clip. But something big happened on the 23rd for us.
Yeah.
You got married.
Yeah, I did get married.
So, so wait. Now you're playing a clip that says the 23rd was a doomsday day.
Yeah.
Okay. Please explain.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that you haven't heard about this because there's been some huge frenzy online about this. So, like that clip was saying, there was a bunch of movies that alluded to the date 9/23. Now I know that we've had 9/23 dates. You know, this is not the first one.
Sure.
But maybe because it's 2023, maybe that's adding a little bit more intensity to it. But a lot of people were referencing, tons of movies that, and some shows that had a date of 9/23 as something big happening.
Yeah, I think I've stated plenty of times that I don't have magical thinking.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like 2012.
Yeah, right.
I don't buy into it and I don't care.
Yeah.
Although I think it's funny.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a lot. I think that there was supposed to be a rapture, along with like a lot of doomsday predictions. But here we are, in October, and nothing's happened. So I'm not sure what a lot of those individuals are saying now that we're what 2 weeks away from that date. So they're 2 weeks removed from it. So, and everything. I mean, the world's always going to be crazy.
Yes.
But nothing has happened. Like there's been no crazy UFOs entering, Earth atmosphere.
Right.
People.
And there's no super volcanoes
Yeah. No meteors. Nothing of that magnitude happening. So it's just interesting that, it happens.
As you would say, what's the point?
Yeah, really. Like, what's the point? Yeah.
All right.
So hold on. And just going back to this. So, also October 4th, we had that the emergency test.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So there was a lot of speculation around this too, that there was going to be something big happening, that it was not normal. And I don't know if people of a younger generation just don't remember, but the broadcast test is not a new thing.
No. No, in fact, we were talking off camera. It used to happen on TV.
Yes.
Except for people don't watch. It used to happen on the radio, I should say.
Yeah.
Then it happened on TV. And then we stream now. So now it happens on the phones.
Yeah. And I mean, it was all over. Like it was on TV, radio, and phone. And I still remember, like, I would be watching when I was a kid. I would be watching a show, maybe one of my favorite cartoons, and all of a sudden the test goes off, and I'm like,
yeah, that was
why
annoying
now?
as a kid. Yeah.
And we didn't have a schedule. We weren't alerted before it was going to happen.
No, and it used to, didn't it? Maybe I'm confusing two things, but didn't it go to test colors sometimes?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah. So, and you would hear the three sounds and whatever else. And I did.
Oh, yeah, the three sounds.
Yep,
now we all just hear our phones go off.
Yeah. And I remember hearing on the radio as well. So I don't know. It's just funny that, there was a huge hype over that too. But it's like you guys didn't know that this was a regular thing. So.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
If there's anybody who's got some more insight, maybe I'm underreacting and something's going on behind the
Sure.
scenes.
Please let all the conspiracy theories come out in the comments.
Yeah, because I'm not a robot. I don't have any nanoparticles or anything
That we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my video is it's not the same doom and gloom as yours, but it caught me off guard. And we've stated before how old we are. We're in our mid 40s. So it's been a while since we've been in school.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that we learned this in school. But it caught me off guard. Let's just watch. So first of all, it starts out with this. It says, seeing Plymouth Rock for the first time since COVID.
Okay.
Hey now, this is what dream.
I am 26 years old. I have lived in America my entire life. I have a bachelor's in science, an associate's in arts, and a high school diploma. I am not the smartest person in the world, but I ain't no dummy. All this time, I thought Plymouth Rock was like a cliff, a mountain, a hill, a canyon, something. I mean, I'd have settled for a speed bump at this point, but you telling me this whole time we had a pet rock? Man, if y'all don't throw that thing back in the ocean somewhere.
Okay. First of all, let me just say, I kind of felt the same way.
Yeah.
And I thought, wait a second. I remember hearing the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock.
Right.
Now, wait, let's just look over the screen for a second. I've got, that's an image of Plymouth Rock.
Yeah.
I have rocks like that in my yard.
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought it was a place or a cliff or a mountain or something.
Right.
And a big outcropping of rock.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
I had no idea that it was a stone that someone carved 1620 into.
Yeah. And I hope that that's real because.
It's real because after I saw it, I looked it up and did a little research because I was like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like it just didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. I remember like when I grew up, where I grew up, we had this place called Red Rock. And it was a cliff. Like it was just called Red Rock just because whatever.
Wait, did you grow up in Vegas?
No.
No, you grew up in
upstate
New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was a place
Because there's a place in Vegas called Red Rock. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was a little cliff. I think it was like next to the Hudson River, I believe. But the same thing. Like I always assumed that Plymouth Rock was the same type of thing. Like it was a huge area, like a land, like a cliff or something, So when they said the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, like, yeah, that's what it was called. It was just so,
Like I'm picturing these, wasn't it 3 boats? No. Columbus came over on 3 boats. I guess I don't know what the Pilgrims came over on. I'll have to look that up.
Okay. Wasn't it the Mayflower?
Yes, but was it just the one boat?
I thought it was just the one.
Okay. Either way, I'm picturing a decent size, like old school wooden boat.
Right.
It hit this little thing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. I'm a little baffled by that.
I mean, I kind of feel like for a big boat,
yeah.
this is not that big a rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's I didn't know that.
Okay. So, hey, it's October, and we were talking before about Halloween coming up, and there being like, you see on TVs or I shouldn't say TV, I should say streaming services probably now, there's going to be an uptick in horror movies.
Yeah.
And I thought we should do almost like a draft of our top 3 horror movies.
Okay, sounds good.
So go ahead. You got number 1.
Okay. So I would have to say Tales from the Dark Side.
Okay. I knew you were going to pick something weird.
You've never heard of it?
No.
Okay. It was like a spinoff of Tales from the Crypt. But it
okay. I used to be a big Tales.
Yeah,
That's a good one. I used to be a big Tales from the Crypt
and it
fan.
was just like 4 stories or whatever, same style of like Tales from the Crypt.
Okay. You know what? A slight diversion.
Okay.
Did you ever used to watch Outer Limits?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was
I like
good,
that.
yeah.
And even when they redid it later,
Yeah.
I liked it
Yeah,
too.
nice. Yeah.
Okay. So for my number 1, I'm going to go with Evil Dead.
Okay. Nice. Good choice.
It's campy. It's fun.
Yeah.
The special effects aren't that great,
Right.
Which is because it's low budget and it's for the time.
Yeah.
But it just makes me smile the whole time I'm
Yeah.
watching it.
Yeah.
It does. It did weird me out the first time I saw it, but now I've seen it so many times. I'm just like, yeah, the hand grabs him in the face, and I just start laughing.
Yeah. Wasn't there I thought there was a show, like a spinoff of the
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Because basically, and the way I remember it is there was Evil Dead, and then they did Evil Dead 2, which was kind of just a remake of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
because I think they got a little bit more money and they got a little more experience, and they were like, let's do this right.
Yeah.
But then the third one was Army of Darkness,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, but it reminds me of like a really campy movie.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. They had a couple years ago, I think it was on Showtime, where they did a series,
Nice.
and it was kind of like a continuation.
Yeah, like Ash.
And Ash, Bruce Campbell, was older then, and he was still
Yeah.
having to fight. I love that Army of Darkness had all of these one-liners.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So
Okay.
we got your number one, my number one.
Okay, so next I would have to say, let me see, Monster House.
See,
So-
all of these are going to be weird, aren't they?
No. So
Monster House?
Yeah, Monster House was like a kids movie. Like I don't know if it was Disney or Pixar or whatever, but it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary. Like you got to see it.
When did this come out?
I don't know. I don't know. 2010 maybe. I don't know if it was that.
Oh, okay. See, that's why I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
One, I'm not a kid. You have kids.
Yeah,
I'm not a kid. I don't watch kid movies.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it was that long ago. Anyway, but it was good. It was
Okay.
pretty scary. Like yeah, it was a good story.
You know, there was a piece of me that was going to say Mars Attacks. That's not my vote.
Okay.
But then I thought that kind of borderlines like, is it a sci-fi movie? Is it a comedy? But it was kind of scary. Like
Okay.
there was heads blowing up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then I thought, no, I've got a better one. And this one definitely is sci-fi, but I would call it sci-fi horror. Because a lot of times I feel like sci-fi is like a backdrop. You know, like Battlestar Galactica, the backdrop was sci-fi, but really it was like an action adventure and talking about how society devolves. And okay, so my number 2 pick is Event Horizon.
Okay.
Do you remember that movie?
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if it would say horror though, but
Well, see, the thing is they created a ship that can fold space
Yeah.
to jump from one part of space to another, like a faster than light drive.
yeah.
But there was a problem with it, and it was sitting dead out in our solar system. So they sent these people out there to get to it. They got to it, docked with it, got on, found out everyone was dead, but they were all pulled apart.
Right.
And then, as they tried to get the log back online, they found out that some people went crazy.
Yeah.
And then the main guy who wanted to bring it back online, like pulled his eyes out and sewed them shut
Yeah.
and was still able to see.
Yeah.
And he said that instead of it jumping from one part of space to another, it jumped into a different, like almost like hell-like realm.
Yeah.
You don't think that's a horror movie?
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
The guy sewed his eyes shut.
Yeah. Okay. You got me there.
Okay. What's number 3?
Okay. 28 Days Later. Listen.
Okay, I do remember that movie a little bit.
Yeah. So, was it English movie? I don't remember, but it was more of a zombie movie, I guess. Where where there was like a plague, and I don't. That was a good movie. That's probably. No, I won't switch my order. That's. I'm going with that one.
Okay. See, now you make me wish that I would have said Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
Maybe I will say Shaun of the Dead.
But 28 Days
Should
Later
I say
wasn't.
Shaun of the Dead?
That one, like 28 Days Later, was a serious
Simon
movie.
Pegg is hilarious in
It
there.
wasn't like 28 Days Later was not a comedy. That was
No. But
No.
you're making me think of that. No. Okay. No, I got to go with my original pick. It is a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and it is a movie we've talked about before. It's Nightmare on Elm Street 3,
Nice.
Dream Warrior.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree.
Because, in fact, I was just telling you last night I didn't have a great sleep because for some reason, in my mid 40s, I was having a nightmare last night, and I kept waking up in the middle of the night. And I just remember getting angry with myself. But
Yeah.
as a kid, it would really affect me. Like as an adult, I'm like, what is going on? Just go back to sleep.
Yeah.
You have stuff you need to do the next day.
Yeah,
But as a kid, I would wake up after a nightmare and be shook.
yeah,
And to watch this movie about them attacking or Freddy attacking the children in their sleep, I was just like, man, they got it down point. Like,
yeah,
it is the one place you are super vulnerable. You're
Yeah.
sleeping. You're unconscious. You can't help it. And it just always screwed me up.
yeah. Those movies used to keep me awake, and yeah, because it was gonna have a lasting impact, you know. But not anymore. I mean, I think I could watch them in the middle of the night and not be creeped out. But
All right, so wait, I had Evil Dead, Event Horizon, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and you had.
I had Tales from the Dark Side, Monster House, and 28 Days Later.
See, I feel like I won that one.
I don't think so.
You guys got to vote down in the comments who won that one. That was me, right?
Yeah, no, that was totally me, but
Yeah,
just let
okay.
us know. Yeah. So just keep it on that real quick. So there was a movie I just watched, kind of a newer movie on Hulu called No One Will Save You. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
So it's pretty good. Now, are you able to watch like a scary movie in the dark and not,
I mean,
alone?
maybe, but I wouldn't go through those theatrics.
Yeah.
I would just watch it
Yeah.
with the lights on, like I watch all my TV.
So you don't do that, like, get ready to turn all the lights off and get comfortable,
Okay, I have kind of a weird house.
Yeah.
I don't have I have an okay sized TV in the living room, but that's basically it.
Yeah.
Out in the garage, I have a decent sized TV with full surround sound, and I will admit there's been times, especially like in the winter when it gets dark at 4:30 or something around here, I will go out in the garage, have a drink, watch a movie with a surround sound on, and it's not very light out there, and it's kind of cool, but it's not a horror movie. It's probably more like an action movie or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've just noticed there's movies I can watch a scary movie like in the dark. It doesn't really get to me. I mean, there's some out there because they still make some real creepy movies. So sometimes you're like, yeah, I can't.
All right, so let me ask you this: if you see a scary movie as an option to watch, and you're about to click on it, you get up, go get a drink, and when you come back in the room, you flick the lights off, set the mood. Like you're on a date with yourself.
Yeah.
Just really set the mood.
Yeah. Why do you have to say it that way? You have to go there.
Maybe light a candle.
But yeah, turn the lights off just to set the mood, but not like that. Like you're watching
Sure.
watching a scary movie. So
Just want to have some quality alone time. All right. So what was the first story that you wanted to talk about?
Okay.
Or I shouldn't even say story, opinion or whatever you've got.
Okay. If someone was to come to you and say, hey, listen, we want to offer you some money for your house and your land here. Would you would you be willing to accept the offer? And for two, would you have a range in mind to sell your house and have to move somewhere else?
Yeah. How do I even say this? You're missing major details here. I'm glad that you said, would you have a range in mind? Because my first deal is if someone just showed up, just rang the doorbell and said, hey, I'd like to buy your land and your house. My first thought would be, okay, I'm listening. Now, what are you going to offer me?
Yeah.
If they offer me something ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But if they just offered me market value, the deal is I really like where I'm at. And so I wouldn't sell it for market value. That's just, it's not personally worth it to me.
Yeah.
But if somebody was like, hey, I'll pay you 3 times what your house is worth, I'm like, well, I guess I'm moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'd probably buy somewhere else in this community because I like it.
Yeah.
And I would just get a slightly bigger house and then bank the rest.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I mean, if that happens, I mean, there's, it doesn't seem like there's any available properties in this area now, but if that happened, you may be, waiting a while or moving somewhere else.
Sure.
But
No. Would you do that?
Probably, I would accept it.
I mean, for market value or
No.
it would have to be more.
It would have to be more.
Okay.
But you've been in your house longer than I've been in mine.
Yeah, not that long though. Well, 9 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay. Yeah. It's been what, 2 or 3 years for me. Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because I ran across this story, and there was I think you got a clip, but there's this family in Australia, and they're around their home. They're developing.
Yeah. In fact, I'll throw a picture up on the screen.
Okay. Yeah. So they're developing other homes around there.
Yeah, it looks like a neighborhood.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the family, so if you look at that picture, that home there, they refuse to sell. And even before production began, the people refused to sell, but they started just building anyway.
I have seen this before, and one thing I have to say is, it's a nice house,
Yeah.
but I saw a different view of this. Their property is very skinny and very long.
Mm-hmm.
And I would look at this and think the development around it would half ruin it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. If they did all that and then you living there.
Yeah, in this situation,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of interrupted you here, but
No, go ahead.
But my deal is I think I would sell because I think in the state that it was in before,
Mm-hmm.
or even if there was a little bit more room around me, I might not. But the fact that it looks like they're like, I don't know, 30, 40 feet away from all this other crap going on,
Yeah.
I think that kind of ruins it.
Yeah, it does like take away because I think I saw a before picture, and it does kind of take away from like the tranquility of what it used to be, you know. So
Because wasn't it farmland
Yeah.
before?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is a nice house. It is a very nice house, and you know, it wouldn't be the same now that it's all built up around.
It looks out of place now.
Yeah,
And I think that would screw it up for me.
yeah. But I don't know. I mean, this house could have been in the family a long time.
It
You
could.
know?
It could. There could be sentimental value that we're not
Yeah.
aware of.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I mean, they offered him what it was, like 33 million.
Wait, that house is worth 33 million?
Yeah.
Wait, and that's market value or that's inflated?
That's what they offered the family
Where is that?
in Australia.
I think I'd have to know more about the area
Yeah.
and what kind of deal that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 33 million is pretty decent. I mean, from what we can see, there's kind of like a circular driveway kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
And there's like a little awning area to pull over, and that's kind of cool. And there's at least a 3-stall garage and then a separate whatever that is behind there.
Mm-hmm.
Feels kind of like a lot for that, but I don't know the area.
Yeah. Yeah. And who knows? I mean, like I said, could have been in a family a long time. Who knows how many families are living there or what type of traditions they got. But I mean, good on them for sticking, you know, holding out. But so.
I mean, I guess good on them. I don't know. I mean, there's certain things that I would like to say I would never sell, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like some family things and whatever, and they have sentimental value to me, and I don't want to get rid of them. But if somebody said something ridiculous, like,
Yeah.
hey, you know that $10 thing you've got? I'll give you $100 million for it. I'm like, well, it doesn't mean that much to me. I mean, I want $100 million. I could set up a whole legacy for children and everything else that I'll probably never have. All right. So my thing is we talked about this the other week, and I think it's maybe a little bit newer for the show that I admitted that I'm a car guy. I like talking about cars. I like looking at cars. I like cars. And I have an opinion that I feel like outside of the car enthusiast community, let's call it, would sound controversial. But inside the car community, I feel like people would go, yeah, that's kind of understandable. And here it is. I think Ferrari sucks.
Okay.
And here's my deal. Let me first say reason why I don't. Not why I'm saying that.
Okay.
I believe that they make beautiful cars. I believe that they make high performance cars. I think that their cars are very amazing. Let's call them like they look good. They got styling. They've got the performance. They've got the race heritage. I get all of that, but the way they operate as a company, I'm just annoyed by.
Okay.
It just feels like the Karen of the auto world.
Okay, that's some strong language.
Okay, first of all, let's look at some history.
Okay.
Recently, there was a movie, Ford versus Ferrari. And if you saw the movie or if you've read anything about it or watched any of the documentaries, the basic deal is that there was a deal where Ford was going to kind of buy Ferrari, and they wanted all the racing stuff, really. And it fell through, and it fell through in kind of an arrogant way. And the way Ford responded was they created the GT. And they basically really just stuck it to Ferrari and started beating them in their own game because Ferrari acted like, you can never be as good as us at racing. And they really just threw it in their face. Wow. Which I liked because I'm like, how arrogant.
Yeah.
But then even past that, there's been like other small altercations with Ferrari. This is a little bit more maybe conspiracy theory, but there was the whole thing with the Honda NSX. Honda wanted to work with Ferrari on some things, and Ferrari kind of acted like they were too good for Honda. And then what does Honda do? They're like, well, we're going to make the NSX. And here's what we need it to do. We need it to have a better performance than the 8-cylinder Ferraris. Once again, they pissed somebody off, and they went out and went, watch what I'm about to do to you. Another story is, and I don't know outside the car enthusiast world how many people know this, but Lamborghini started out making tractors. They made farming tractors, and they were very successful. And he wanted a fast sports car. So he went to Ferrari and said, I love your cars. I would like one. And he had some ideas and some things. And basically Ferrari was like, you're like a backwoods farmer. I'm not going to sell you one of my cars. And then what did Lamborghini do? Made their own company that directly challenges them. I feel like if Ferrari would just drop their arrogance a little bit, they wouldn't create so many enemies.
Yeah, but so are they the first, almost like the first in this category?
Well, you want to know what? It's arguable. The argument is made that the very first supercar is the Lamborghini Mira, which was their first full-on sports car. And I think what Ferrari had before were sports cars. And I think Lamborghini took it so high above them just to really stick it to them that they're the first supercar.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a hot take. I don't think I've heard anyone say anything.
Let me continue to complain for just a second here, because that's not the only backwards ass thing that these guys have done. The other deal is they not only have strict restrictions about who can buy their cars, which there are other car manufacturers that do that. And I get having a certain level of exclusivity. Exclusivity, yes, thank you. Sorry, I don't know why words are hard. Around a brand, but they kind of look at it as like, well, what other cars do you own? Have you ever bought any of our used cars? And then if you pass their test, then they'll let you have their newer car, or they'll invite you to buy it, which sounds kind of cocky. But when you get to the price and the level of Ferrari, I kind of get that. That happens more than just Ferrari. This is where I have a problem. If you buy a Ferrari and you decide to do stuff to it, they have been known to sue their own customers.
What?
Yes. So do you remember the EDM DJ Deadmau5?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Deadmau5.
So he bought a Ferrari, and he bought this Ferrari, which is a 458. And he customized it, and he wrapped it with his Nyan cat around it, which is his logo.
Yeah.
And then on the back, he changed the Ferrari symbol to the Nyan cat.
Okay, nice.
And then he called it a Ferrari,
Yeah.
like instead of a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Then later on, I believe he tried to sell it, and Ferrari got ticked, sent him a cease and desist, and said, no, you have screwed with our brand, and you can't do that.
Okay.
And I just think, arrogant.
Yeah.
If I buy something, it's mine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like I'm making a new product and competing with them. But if I purchased something and I modified it and then sold it later on, that should be my prerogative,
right.
not the original maker. Now, if I propped up a company and tried to kick out a couple 100,000 of them, then we've got a problem.
Right.
But it's a one-off.
Yeah.
So what? Either way, Dead Mouse's response, he ended up selling it anyways, and he bought a Lamborghini Huracan, and he wrapped it, and he called it the Huracan. Yeah. And Lamborghini said, good job, it looks great. And I just think
Nice.
Lamborghini's approach, that's the correct approach.
Yeah.
Ferrari sending a cease and desist and threatening to sue and all this. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't see it at all from their side, even though he bought it it's his own. But now somebody might be like, hey, I like your car. What kind of car is that? And then they're like, it's a Ferrari. And I don't know, somebody could see it and be like, well, I didn't know Ferraris look like that. It's ugly, you know?
I'm sorry. Are you on Ferrari's side here?
I'm just playing devil's advocate, so I'm just...
You said I had a hot take? It's like you're trying to start a fight with me right now. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing we wanted to talk about today, and we actually, where did we get this idea from?
I don't know.
Oh man, she's gonna be so disappointed.
Oh no, I do know. Yeah. It was my daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We were at your wedding.
Yeah.
And she saw me. She came over. She goes, I got a great idea for a podcast.
Yeah.
And she said that she had told you and you hadn't passed the information along.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a parent, but I'm going to guess they probably tell you a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
you always have ideas.
Yep. Okay. So she told me, and then I repeated it to you.
Yeah.
And it was about the oceans.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting. Because the oceans make up 71% of our surface of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But we know more about outer space and other planets. I shouldn't say outer space. I should say the moon and Mars than we do about the bottom of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I looked this up.
Mm-hmm.
The moon, you know, of course, we've sent satellites and things like that there. Yeah. The moon has been mapped to where it has what's called a resolution. So if you look at like a map, each pixel is equivalent to this size. Mm-hmm. On the moon, each pixel is equivalent to 328 feet. Now, that is what I saw from NASA from a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I was actually a little surprised. I thought we would have had higher resolution. And I actually think this number is too large because I have seen pictures from years ago from, I believe it was a Chinese spacecraft that orbited the moon and took high-res photos, and you could actually see the Apollo landing. So I'm going to say it's under 328 feet. I don't know how small the resolution gets. Maybe it gets down to a meter or something, 3 feet-ish. That would seem like more realistic to me, but I haven't found the numbers to support that, so I'm just going to say what I did find.
Okay.
Now on Mars, we actually have a resolution of 5 meters or about 16.4 feet for the entire planet because there's no water. Well, there's no oceans or anything there, so we've mapped the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Now, the bottom of the ocean, we have a maximum resolution of about 1.5 kilometers or the equivalent of about 1 mile.
Yeah.
So every pixel would be a mile.
Yeah.
What? It's not even close.
Yeah, nowhere near.
We don't hardly know anything.
Yeah, but to that point, I mean, it's a little bit different.
It's actually, it feels kind of more dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. To map the ocean or outer space?
I think the ocean.
Yeah.
Because of the pressure you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts that it's somehow easier for us to send stuff millions of miles away to Mars and photograph that and map that with radar and everything else than it is to just use some like multi-frequency sonar.
Okay, I hope I don't sound like a complete idiot here, but with all of our technological capabilities,
Mm-hmm.
like there's got to be some way to explore how deep the ocean or how vast it is. Even
Yes.
though there's an amount of pressure, I mean, we still have sent satellites that are like way in outer space,
Yes. Well,
which I know that's different because that's not dealing with massive amount of pressure. But
the other thing past the pressure is just the two different environments. In space, a lot of things we can just see with telescopes and things like that because of light, or even just look at things outside of our visible spectrum, like infrared or ultraviolet and things like that. In the ocean, it's a little bit more difficult. We have to use the best technology is sonar to go through the water, and we do have sonar, but in the sonar we do have now, the multi-frequency, transducer sonar that can be dragged around under the water. It's pretty good, but its vision isn't actually that large. Like we can't just put it at the top of the ocean and see a massive swath of the ocean. The United States government does have drones that are out in the ocean that are mapping, and also we have military ones that are looking for things like, submarines and things like that. And then of course we have submarines, we have ships. But from what I can see online, less than 5% of the ocean is explored. So even with all of that, we haven't got a good look.
yeah,
And just to tell you some of the different things that happen at the different depths, at 100 meters, there's absolutely no light,
okay,
which is nuts because I think the furthest diver, and I didn't write this down, the furthest diver is only gone down like, I want to say a couple hundred feet. But then at 1,220 feet, it's the deepest military submarine.
Okay.
I should say unclassified depth.
yeah, okay,
I mean, just like, they always say one thing, but it does another,
Right,
whatever. Okay. But then at 3,800 feet deep, or 3,800, I keep saying feet. Well, let me reiterate some of these. It's 1,000 meters, no light. 1,220 meters is the deepest military submarine. And 3,800 meters is where Titanic is at. So that submersible,
Yep.
I think it was just several hundred meters above Titanic when it imploded.
yeah,
But now the deepest spot that we know of in the ocean is called Challenger Deep. And it's at 10,984 meters deep, or 6.8 miles.
How many miles?
6.8,
Okay,
which is kind of both a testament to how thin the surface of Earth is, because 6.8 miles doesn't seem very far away.
no,
That is such crushing depth
yeah,
that it is a huge deal to send anything anywhere near that depth.
yeah. I think that we forget that. I mean, when you're talking about the ocean, you do. I mean, we mentioned the pressure before, but you got to remember you have all that water pressure at that depth.
Yeah, in fact, just looking this up, I'm pretty sure that just like at 30 feet, you're at 2 atmospheres. It's pretty insane. There's a lot of stuff we just haven't got to, and it just I think a big part of this is just technology.
Yeah,
And I think as our sonar and stuff improves, we'll be able to see more. But just to know that less than 5%, I mean, if we're thinking the deepest part is Challenger Deep,
yeah,
the reality is we don't really know yet.
yeah. But we do know the size of the Earth. Like there's got to be other. I understand the Earth is huge. Okay, but there's got to be some way to do some calculations. I don't know. Because even what I'm thinking, it still doesn't necessarily account for like, because you just have just a massive amount to explore.
If you look at Google Earth, you can look at anywhere on land on Earth, which is just insane, and an actual image of it. Wait, when you pan over into the oceans, the thing is that it gives you, it shows you something on Google Earth that gives you the impression that we know what's there.
Yeah,
But that's actually not true, which I just think is weird.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people understand that less than 5% is nothing.
Have you ever gone like scuba diving or anything?
No, and I've always wanted to. I've gone snorkeling
Okay.
a couple times. And when I was a little kid, I used to, my friends and I used to just do it in lakes around here.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a lake close to where my parents used to live, and my friends and I would go over there because it had a drop off that went from very shallow to very deep quick. Well, very deep.
Yeah.
Like 15 feet deep or something. And there was some, it wasn't, how do I say this? There used to be like a little bridge area right there. And a long, long time ago, it was demolished, but it wasn't cleaned up really well. And there were big pieces of like concrete and stuff sitting over there. So what we used to do is we'd grab like a 30, 40-pound piece of concrete and we'd walk off the drop off and we could just walk down the side and we'd dare each other to like who could get to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then we'd let it go and swim back up.
Jeez.
And then we'd play games on who could swim down and get it.
Yeah.
And what would happen is we'd grab it and we'd start walking up the drop off, which was very steep.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we get halfway up, we'd have to drop it. And then the person would come up out of breath and be like, it's halfway down. It's right below me. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to take forever to get that back.
Yeah, I've never gone like scuba diving or anything, but you know, I don't know. My perception of the oceans have changed. You know,
How so?
Only because, man, I don't know. I just don't think I'm as comfortable in the oceans as I used to be, or like in a, you know, vast, but well, probably the ocean specifically, but.
You know, we talked about this a little bit before when you were down in Florida and some of the Florida stuff. Like, you're not really comfortable in black water either because there's alligators and stuff in there.
Yeah, but then, you know.
And you know what? I don't mean to make that sound one-sided.
Yeah, no.
Either am I.
Yeah, no. Listen, I heard this this horrible news story a couple months ago, and there were like a group of high school students. They were on this trip, and
Where was this?
this was I want to say it was like off the coast of Florida somewhere. I believe.
Okay.
But somehow someone like dared a kid to jump off the boat, and this was in the middle of the night. And he
that
did.
just seems super stupid.
Yeah, and he did. He jumped off the boat, and you know, like he was never recovered. But I can't imagine being in the middle of the ocean at night. Like it feels
Was
like
the boat moving?
yeah, it was moving. Like this was like a cruise. So,
That is super,
yeah.
super dangerous.
yeah. Unfortunately, he was never recovered. And but like, man, I couldn't imagine just being in the middle of the ocean and like all that water, no help.
I think my problem, because I also have a similar issue with swimming in the ocean. I have no problems with lakes and stuff like that, especially in the environment that we're in right now, because there isn't a lot of things that could kill us.
Yeah.
It's not like crocodiles and stuff like that. But in the ocean, I think my main issue is that I know so little. I know that there are some things that could severely injure me or kill me. And I know of the big ones, which are probably the least likely ones, like sharks and stuff.
Right.
But I also know that there are smaller things like what are they, like sea urchins and things like that can sting you.
Yeah.
And since I'm not aware of what I'm supposed to touch and not supposed to touch, the several times that I've been in the ocean, I just don't touch anything.
Yeah.
Unless it looks like a sandy bottom, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And so I think it gives me apprehension to like go in the ocean because I just think, what am I supposed to be by? What is supposed to scare me?
Yeah.
What should I get out of the water for?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen any of those like crazy images of like because the fear of the ocean is thalassophobia. I think that's how you say it. But
Wait, say that again. Elastophobia?
Thalassophobia. Like thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And so usually if you like Google it or something, you may see some images of like, you know, maybe somebody swimming or just in the ocean. And then in the distance, there's like a creature. You might see a shadow. They always kind of frame it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like a favorite movie trope.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. But there's nothing saying that that's not totally accurate.
True, but I think, with movies like Jaws and things like that, it make you think that, a lot of these animals are just looking for you. Now that we know more,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the human attacks from animals that are in the ocean are more or less like an accident.
Yeah.
Like as if they thought you were a seal or something else and they did something. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some animals that directly come after human beings, but I've seen so many images of like off the coast of Florida where you can see an aerial view and there's the beach and everyone's in the water.
Yeah.
And then like 100 feet away, there's like 1,000 sharks migrating
Yeah.
and they don't seem to care.
Yeah.
And they're just staying out of the way and they're just like, whatever's going on over there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they're opposed to humans. Maybe it's, I don't know. But I mean, we've seen enough like shark attacks and stuff that like, to a shark, you're probably just another food source.
I think the deal is either they're mistaking you for something else or you've done something to threaten it.
Yeah.
Like you've gotten in its area or it came close to you and you did something to it.
Yeah, I don't think that they're directly targeting humans, but like you said, they think you're something else, so they're not going to be afraid to go up to you and take a bite.
The other thing that I find interesting about the ocean, and we've touched on this a little bit before, but at the super deep depths, there is life. And it's able to exist in that extreme pressure, but also the cold. And they have these little micro environments where these, I believe they're called streamophiles, right? And they live off of these, some of them live off of these like vents at the bottom of the ocean and they warm up off the vent and they just live in that little micro environment.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of like the weirdest thing. Like I'm definitely interested in exploring other planets and maybe one day finding bacteria somewhere in our solar system and going, look, there's life. But there's so many animals at super deep that one, we don't know about. And then two, there are these micro environments that have unique life in them that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is kind of like an alien world, but we just don't really have, we have the capability to get down there, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
And we have to know where we're going.
Right.
And I think in the future, when we've either done a better job at mapping it, we'll have some places to go.
Yeah.
Or maybe our technology will improve and it won't be that hard to get to and we could just kind of go down there and explore. But
Yeah. Right.
either way, it's just difficult right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I also wonder too, like if the like I know that we've seen things like giant whales, like sperm whales, or what is it, a blue whale? That's the largest whale. Yeah.
Horse fart.
Yeah.
If
but
you saw our shorts.
Yeah. But if that may not be it. That may not be the largest creature down there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I wouldn't be surprised if we found something, but the bigger the thing is, I think it's the harder it is for us not to know about it. Although with that being said, some of these massive squid we've just recently found out about because of oil drilling, actually, because they put cameras and stuff down there to find out how the drill's doing, and they see some crazy things, which it just seems so alien to me. Which I find interesting. Like, it's too bad we can't find a way to study those things or something.
Yeah.
Eventually we will.
I think that's all I got on that topic.
Yeah, that's all I have today too.
Yeah.
I'd like to say how do I say this? It's very important to us, or it would mean a lot to us, I should say, if you guys could click the subscribe button. I always used to watch YouTube videos and think, man, look at these people just asking for it.
Yeah.
But now that I know exactly what that does and the fact that like 80% of the people that watch our stuff are not clicking the subscribe button, and it doesn't allow our videos to be shown to other people. It would mean a lot if you guys could click the subscribe button.
Yes, do that and leave some comments on any of the topics that we've mentioned today, and let us know your thoughts on any of that.
And I'd also like to know if anyone else was surprised about Plymouth Rock.
Yeah,
I really
sure.
thought that was like a place or a cliff,
Yeah.
or I didn't know it was just like a rock you could find in someone's yard.
Yeah, I was a little taken aback by that. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.